Welcome back to another episode of Before You Buy, the show where we give you some straight-up gameplay and our first impressions of the latest games releasing. Hi, folks, it's Falcon and Platinum Games. Ninja Gaiden. Sounds like a match made in heaven. The masters of the hack and slash, reviving one of the all-time greats of the genre. Sure, the legacy of the Ninja Gaiden series has been spotty, and Platinum's reputation isn't as rock solid as it once was, but the possibility of greatness exists, of course, in such a project. The thing about Ninja Gaiden 4 is that it's actually pretty different in certain ways from Platinum's usual fare. So the big question going in is this a proper Ninja Gaiden game or a Platinum game with a Ninja Gaiden suit? What makes these games different isn't the absurd violence, not just the absurd violence anyway. It's stuff like the controls, which are a little heavier, a little more deliberate. There's a little bit more need for precision and careful positioning, the management of resources, and of course the grueling difficulty. That stuff defines Ninja Gaiden. If it's not making you contemplate punching a hole through the wall, it's not Ninja Gaiden. The challenge is what defines the series the most, otherwise it's pretty malleable, honestly. But Black and 2 are extremely different games, for instance. The first game focused on carefully crafted level design, small skirmishes, tough enemies. Sequel 3 into big open environments, had you take on hordes of aggressive cannon fodder and endless waves of extreme violence. The third game, I guess it was closer to the second, but it doesn't really matter. So there's a couple of different viewpoints and approaches you could take with this game. If what you want is Ninja Gaiden Black, 4 is definitely closer in spirit to the second game, with all its positives and negatives. I could probably end the review right there. It's like the second game, cut and print. There you go. Somebody who wants Ninja Gaiden Black, not going to be their favorite game. Somebody who wants Ninja Gaiden 2, I think you'll be satisfied. I'd venture to say I even think it might be more better. And then there's the approach that I'm taking. Well, I definitely have a fondness for Ninja Gaiden. Black more than 2. That isn't really what I'm here for. To me, the original Ninja Gaiden games, or the original 3D ones anyways, were kind of proto-Platinum games. They're extremely inconsistent in quality. There are ideas there that were ultimately developed later by Platinum. And although it's a different developer, different thing, to me, the games are more important as forerunners of what is ultimately a type of action game. I'm honestly here for Platinum. I love a good Platinum game. I like it when they innovate and they add new things. But they're one of those developers that has a type of game that I just like. And sometimes you don't really need the wheel reinvented. Sometimes you just need more quality stuff. And that's what this is. It's another Platinum game. It's very good. It's not their best. I'm not going to claim it's their best. But, I mean, keep these perspectives in mind as I'm talking. I think that there are flaws in this game that I think people who are specifically in it for the Ninja Gaiden experience are probably going to be more affected by. And somebody who's coming at this from a more Platinum-centric viewpoint is probably going to enjoy it more. So, that all in mind. The combat's incredible. The Platinum-ness of it it's there. It's so there. And for some people, that might involve some of this stuff feeling maybe a little undercooked and maybe a little cheap. It's clear that Xbox or Koei Tecmo did not allot this the biggest budget in the world, and that kind of might make some people feel it's sort of a B-tier game. I don't personally care a whole lot about that. Some of my favorite stuff in Platinum is, relatively cheap. It's very arcadey. Platinum is just an extremely video gamey developer, and for whatever reason, I just require less artifice with them. But that's also, in my opinion, something that makes them a little bit more controversial, because not everybody is like that. For some people, this is a great, solid, straightforward Platinum game, and for some people, it's going to be something that they wish was something more. Personally, I'm quite happy with it, because Platinum sans Kamiya making something that is just a straightforwardly good Platinum game, I'm happy. That's great. I like that. But that doesn't mean that you're going to completely agree with me on that. I am a Platinum fanbird, and I'm getting what I want here. That being said, we do have to talk about a few things that a Ninja Gaiden fan isn't gonna love. You spend most of the game playing as Raven Clan Ninja Yakumo. Ryu's in the game, and you do eventually play as him, but the new guy is the star attraction. Not a Devil May Cry 5 situation where the game is evenly split up between the characters. You're going to play as the new guy for 80% of the game, and then the final stretch, you get a few levels with Ryu, that's it. I don't mind it. Again, like, you get the perspective I am coming from. at this point. I'm more here for the platinum of it all than the Ninja Gaiden of it all. That doesn't mean I don't love Ninja Gaiden and understand why this would turn some people off, but I'm not turned off. I'll say the trailers are a bit of a bait and switch because it is not a split protagonist game. Yakumo is Ninja Gaiden 4, Ryu is more of a bonus. It is super satisfying to play as him. You get to don the shiny black spandex and Ninja Gaiden it up. Absolutely. There's a story here too, but it really doesn't matter a lot. There's probably less story in this game than any of the other Ninja Gaiden games, and that's saying a lot. Again, you play as Yakumo. He's an edgy ninja with frosted tips on a mission to destroy the Black Dragon that devastated Tokyo. You gotta free the Dragon Priestess and purify 4 shrines before finally taking on the dragon itself. It's all formulaic and straightforward. There's very little to chew on, and that's fine because the focus is the action. In some ways, I could see missing the unnecessarily convoluted plot of something like Black. Not gonna lie, doesn't really matter that much. This isn't Ninja Gaiden Black, so don't go in thinking it is. If you do, and that's what you want, again, I think you're gonna be disappointed in certain ways about this game, but if you can come at it like its own thing, or like it's a platinum thing, I think you're gonna like it. In practice, you're going through 4 major zones. You're beating 4 main bosses with the occasional sub-boss along the way. In terms of level design, stages are a bit bland. They're of the open variety. Not a lot to actually look at here. Every area is kind of dark, kind of murky. You're mostly running through linear corridors without a lot of variety to keep that stuff fresh. Level design, it's probably the weakest aspect of the game, and also it's just gonna remind you of Ninja Gaiden 2. At times, you're almost gonna even feel like it's a little indie-like. Reuses a limited palette of environmental details to build the levels. This is kind of where I say it reminds me a little bit of an arcadey endeavor. This is not the first time you've seen Platinum do something like this. It's also not the first Ninja Gaiden like this. So, there's dance club assets inexplicably sprinkled around the sewer, though. That you'll find that weird. Whether weirdly charming or weirdly not charming, I guess that's up to you. That's a matter of taste. But let me bring you to the focus of the game. Combat. They get combat 100% right. The combat is where this game shines. It's exhilarating. And once you start getting the hang of it, you feel satisfied. Everything you could do in a previous Ninja Gaiden game, it's all available here. Izuna drops, obliterations, ultimate techniques, they're all accounted for, along with some new stuff like the Bloodbind ninjutsu, which allows you to power up your weapons while spending a meter called the Bloodbind Gauge. These are powered-up attacks that allow you to break through enemy guards, interrupt attacks. Mastering it, absolutely necessary for beating some of the bosses in this game because they can be brutal. You might think that it being a platinum joint means it might be a little easier. It's not. Some of the bosses, some of the enemy encounters are just brutally difficult. It is not Souls-like hard. You're never going to get completely stuck on something, but these fights, some of them are going to require multiple restarts. And part of that is that there is a lot to learn here. The combat system is in-depth, it's complex. Each weapon has its own strengths, its own weaknesses. Learning how to best utilize the many abilities you have, it can be overwhelming, but I would argue in a good way. The weapons, all extremely satisfying to use. They're spaced out. They get just enough time with each of them before the game gives you something new, which is a great piece of pacing that a lot of games seem to not be able to grasp. Each major area has an entirely new set of enemies every time. The demons, not quite as much fun to fight as the DDO guys, but they have a steady flow of new enemies to keep things from getting boring, even though the stages might not be throwing you a bone in terms of new stuff, as much as maybe you would expect them to be. Like, there's only so long you could spend in a windy forest before you start going, maybe something other than a windy forest would be good at this point. It takes a while to get to play as Ryu. You get to play at him around hour 8 or 9 of an 11 to 12 hour game, but he is fun. Yakumo is fast, like a platinum protagonist, and Ryu still has some of the same old deliberate movement he had in the older games. Playing as him again is like putting on an old glove. Feels right. Like, I don't feel like they made him particularly different, despite the fact this is a fairly different game. It's a platinum game. I don't mind that they slowed him down because, again, it's more established that that's how he moves. It feels good I like it. They're some of my favorite parts in the game, even if some of it is retreading some ground. It is, I mean, not as bad as Devil May Cry 4. The second half of Devil May Cry 4 is like repeating the first half. And each Ryu stage cuts down multiple part levels into a quick little replay where you get the highlights, refight the boss with his incredibly powerful arsenal of magic spells, and then you move on. Kind of disappointing. He's only got one unique boss, but getting to play as him is a lot of fun. And they even bring back the classic NES Ninja Gaiden theme back for a level, which I didn't think that they'd bring back, but I enjoyed a lot. Depending on what you like with games, you might say that this is it's maybe a little cheap, or it's maybe a little video gamey, because replaying these parts, it feels like padding, but not like bad padding. They bring back some classic enemies for his segments, but it could have been more. You can play through the entire campaign as Ryu after beating the game, which is a solid reward. The bosses in general, pretty tough, and depending on your taste, they may stray a little too far into Dark Souls territory with how you fight them. They're well designed, though. They may or may not mesh with what you expect for this type of a game, but they are well designed. There's less spectacle and more mechanical depth, which is probably better for hardcore players, but sometimes you're going to want the big dumb spectacle, and it's maybe not to the level you expect it or want it. I don't know. Maybe you know, but when we do Before You Buys, it's not just the person talking who has played it. Eric and Kevin, who generally write a lot for our channel, are the other people who play this. And there's differing viewpoints with the people who have played this game. Eric and I are a little more leaning towards the Platinum, where Kevin is leaning more towards wanting it to be like Ninja Gaiden Black. And I think everybody kind of has like rational points in either direction. And if there is one thing I think that we all kind of agree on, it's that in terms of spectacle, it's maybe not as heavy on that as it could/should be. There are a few standout moments, don't get me wrong, but I think you'll probably see a lot of people talking about the level design being a little drab. There not being a lot of story to connect with. There's 8 characters in total, if you count Ayane, who's more of a cameo, and the Mission Control Girl. That doesn't even get an in-game model. Yes. It is a little slim with the presentation, but to its credit, it's solid as hell. They do try to give you something to do other than just hacking and slashing by offering little side quests in each stage, but they're kind of basic. They don't really affect the experience one way or the other. Sometimes you get a little bonus boss fight that's slightly tougher than a normal enemy. Sometimes it's basic fetch quest. Nothing to write home about. Not gonna, I think, affect your opinion one way or the other. The one piece of side content that I would say is definitely worth hunting down are the Perdition Gates. They function like the arena challenges from the old game. You go through the gate, take on multiple waves of enemies, get a reward. It's simple, but they're a lot of fun. The combat is the highlight of the game, and these are very combat-centric. Like, it's a no-brainer. You can really hone your abilities and just go nuts with these challenging freeform combat scenarios. And they can be really tough, but they're super satisfying when you clear them. There's a risk-reward system for these things. You can get higher rewards if you enter the gate with lower max health. It's a cool idea, but I'm fine with the base level. There's certain people that are really going to think the game is most rewarding after finishing the main campaign, so you get all the challenge modes opening up. You can really dig down on the combat. Main story's pretty short. Like I said, you're going to finish it in probably 11, 12 hours. But there's a lot more that gets unlocked after beating it, so they do give you something to do after the credits roll. I really enjoy Ninja Gaiden 4. I don't know if it's going to wow anybody, but again, that's a matter of perspective. Depending on where you're coming from, you might just want a really video gamey-ass game, and that's... I feel like it'd be hard to argue that's what this is. It's that. It's kind of a more subdued, maybe less bombastic Platinum game, which that might be a positive for a lot of people. But for some people, it might be a little too stripped down. I think there are going to be people that say this might be the best combat in a Platinum game. I don't think that's going to be a particularly controversial statement. Like, it's really, 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 really good. But I think that there are differing expectations as to what other people might want from a Ninja Gaiden game. I don't necessarily expect a great narrative, but there are going to be people who think that the plot is just way too non-existent. So again, I think that we've done a good job representing a couple of different sets of expectations for this. before you buy. If you're like me, if what you want is another Platinum game, perhaps the one with the most satisfying combat of any Platinum game other than Metal Gear Rising or Vengeance, which I don't know if you're ever going to be able to beat that. I will honestly say this really would have been a place where they could have implemented the slicing. Like, where else are you going to get a perfect reason to have the slicing than Ninja Gaiden, the famously bloody forerunner to the Platinum type game? If there's one major criticism I personally have, why isn't the slicing from Metal Gear Rising or Vengeance here? But again, that's just going to be something that I'll probably say with any Platinum game that has a sword in it ever. And there's swords in this. Now, bearing in mind I don't expect them to have the sword mechanic, this is probably some of the tightest combat they've ever done, period. It's that simple. This is a really satisfying Platinum game. For me, it's an easy recommend. For somebody wanting something closer to Ninja Gaiden Black, maybe a little harder. I'm not going to say you're not going to like it. I think try it, see if you like it. There unfortunately isn't a demo, so that probably means wait for it to be on sale. But for me, I'm there. I like it. What about you, though? Leave us a comment. Let us know. If you like this video, click like. If you're not subscribed, now's a great time to do so. We upload brand new videos every day of the week. Best way to see them is, of course, a subscription, so click subscribe. Don't forget to enable notifications, and as always, we thank you very much for watching this video. I'm Falcon, and we'll see you next time right here on Game Ranks.
Not sure what the hell's going on around here, but something feels off.
A demon has been causing all this. Allegedly.
A demon?